Hello and welcome to another episode of the AutoTrader Podcast. My name is Wandile Sishi.
And I'm George Mienie.
I was like, where did George go?
I was trying to get my headphones turned up, but it's fine.
Perfect. But yeah, it's a new episode, and it's October, which means it's also motoring month. So lots of things are happening within the motoring space right now. One of which being the Smarter Mobility Africa conference, which you attended yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did indeed.
Yeah, this is it's primarily just a green energy sort of conference, right?
It's smarter mobility.
Yeah.
It covers a whole range of possible topics.
Yeah.
And possible technologies, and it's not only about the vehicle. So to give you an example, one of the panel topics was something that the government is actually very heavily driving at the moment, and that is a single ticket payment service.
Single ticket payment service for what does that entail?
The name escapes me. Single ticket payment service SA. I'll see now what it's called. If I can find it. But anyway, it doesn't. I don't want to waste your time. But we can put it up as a strap line. When we publish this. But basically, what it is for people to have a single method of payment across any public transport system. So you get onto the Gautrain, the Gautrain card, right? Yeah. Let's call it the Gautrain card. It's not going to be the Gautrain card potentially, but let's call it the Gautrain card. You can use that card to get into a taxi. You can use that card to get on a public train somewhere else. You can use that card to use other mobility services. So there's this single ticket kind of idea. And then, another topic was mobility as a service, which a panel I was on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But how would that even, I can understand the convenience of having one sort of payment solution throughout whatever you're going to be using. But I mean, I can't see any other benefits of having... you have to integrate the systems. There's so many things that you have to do.
Yeah, so many things you have to do. But one of the ideas was a wallet to wallet transfer mechanism. So it doesn't go through the banks until a certain point. I mean, I'm really scraping the barrel here, but it doesn't go through the banks at every transaction because there's transaction fees incurred.
Oh, I see.
So it's trying to minimize those transaction fees. So kind of creating a digital wallet of some sort that you can put money in, you can use across the network of partners, and then at some point somebody kind of either draws off a real bank account or puts into a real bank account, and
if it's digital, I think it's a good idea because I mean I used to take the Gautrain.
Yeah, I didn't.
I
didn't mean. I just used the Gautrain card as an example, but yes, digital.
So fully digital,
wallet on your phone, some kind of thing.
That's really interesting. But I mean, other things. So you're saying that Smart Mobility Africa is not just about green energy vehicles. It's really about
It's about smarter mobility.
It's
yes.
in the name, yeah.
So it's in the name. Using technology to because even using wallet payment systems reduces your carbon footprint.
100%.
So there's
finding better ways to just do mobility
exactly.
as a whole.
And a large portion of it is moving to new energy vehicles.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's kind of the hot topic.
Yeah.
Speaking of, so one of the new energy solutions that have been flagged right now is hydrogen. So hydrogen fuel cell vehicles. And I don't know if you saw it yesterday. I mean, you were there. But Toyota and Sasol and the company called Air Products basically collaborated to introduce hydrogen fuel cell vehicles in the country. I mean, it's been around for a while, hydrogen fuel cell energy, but I don't think there's actually a vehicle in the market that's, hydrogen fuel cell that you can just go and buy. I think they're still kind of trialing it out. But this posed a question for me. I had this huge argument with, I think, my father yesterday. Is hydrogen an option? Is it the future? Is it an alternative to electric vehicles or battery electric vehicles, or is it just another sort of option that's going to be available to consumers?
I think it's going to be just another option that's available to consumers. I don't, I don't know what the outcome is. I don't think that every day, personally, this is my view. I don't think the consumer level car driving might be hydrogen. Definitely battery electric for the future of passenger vehicles.
Yeah. Okay.
Hydrogen, I think, is more geared to the commercial environment, trucking, maybe even down to double cab buckies and buckies.
Yeah.
Because Toyota has just revealed that they're thinking of the Hilux.
Yeah,
as a hydrogen option.
I did see somewhere in Europe they actually launched a Hilux that was hydrogen kind of fuel cells. But yesterday specifically it was the Mirai. A picture of it.
Yes, it's a beautiful car. Thing, I mean, it's a beautiful car. I went and had a look at it. So if we backtrack a little bit, a hydrogen's powered hydrogen cell in a vehicle. This vehicle is effectively this is an electric car.
It is an electric car, ultimately, yeah. Because it's using hydrogen to generate electricity that will power the motors.
So all that's happening is the energy is coming from hydrogen, as opposed to the energy coming from lithium.
Exactly that.
It's the only difference.
So
it'll come down to energy density.
Yeah.
Cost to deliver the hydrogen at the point of need. That's what it'll come down to.
I mean, that's the biggest challenge right now with hydrogen fuel cell energy. I mean, ultimately that's why battery electric right now is winning that race.
It's because electricity is delivered to everybody's house.
Exactly, yeah.
And to a large part, that's the reason I think passenger vehicles and lithium-ion powered electric vehicles will win out. So if we had to kind of just call it what it is, it's lithium-ion powered electric vehicles or hydrogen-powered electric vehicles. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about hydrogen as much as I'm excited about lithium, because at the end of the day, it's still an electric car.
100%.
It's not an internal combustion engine car.
You say something interesting now, which is the biggest challenge is delivery of the fuel. Ultimately, that's going to be powering these vehicles. So I had a conversation with Chad, one of our journalists, and he was saying storage is going to be a big challenge, storing the fuel source of hydrogen, and then just getting the infrastructure sort of.
Yeah. So look at the difference between lithium and hydrogen.
Yeah.
Okay. The storage of lithium. Okay. The storage of energy in the lithium-ion batteries occurs in your car. So you store it in your car, in your garage, or in the battery. Same as hydrogen-powered electric vehicles, stored in the fuel cell tank in the car, right? So similar thing. Both are places of storage.
Yeah.
Then you backtrack into the system. Lithium-ion, the energy, the electricity that powers the car in the lithium-ion. Where is it stored outside of the car?
It's in the grid. So it's everywhere.
It's not stored.
Oh, okay.
It's not stored anywhere.
Yeah.
It's generated on demand.
Yeah. And everywhere. Constantly.
And yes. So the power stations ramp up or ramp down depending on the demand. And they can predict what the demand might be. There's a little bit of loss there. So, where the power station might be running and the demand isn't high enough.
Yeah.
But there's no requirement for storage. So let me finish the hydrogen part.
Yeah.
On the flip side though, hydrogen is you have to store it somewhere in order for the vehicle to fill up. 100%. So that's a challenge because the distribution, that means that there needs to be a well thought through distribution plan.
Yeah.
So that's why it's suited, I think, to commercial vehicles.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a large enough sort of storage facility at different points, then you can kind of... I mean, that poses another question or another pro of hydrogen. I mean, it's the most abundant substance in the universe. It's effectively a renewable energy source. So why do you think we've gone this route of not just doing hydrogen fuel cell in the first place and even introducing electric vehicles? I think
it's because of the transport and storage.
Okay.
You're going to be able to store the stuff effectively.
And safely.
Yeah. And that requires massive infrastructure So you got to build the car with a hydrogen fuel cell.
Yeah.
As well as now the storage facility. That's massive capital investment. Who's going to invest in the storage facility if there are no vehicles? So do you expect the OEMs to build the vehicles first and then say, okay, now we've built X number of these. All right, build storage facilities, please, and distribution facilities.
Let's take
or do the fuel companies build storage facilities and distribution facilities and then say to the OEMs, okay, now we have all this.
Building the cars.
You can start building the cars. Okay, it's a bit of a chicken and egg. Whereas with battery electric, it's the distribution of electricity is already there.
It's already there. It was already built up.
You might argue that the DC fast charge network, that was the chicken or the egg.
Yeah.
But 80 to 90% of charging happens in your garage. Electricity is already there.
100%. Speaking of charging, I mean, that's one of the big pros of hydrogen, though, is with regards to not necessarily range anxiety, but the charging time or the refueling time of a hydrogen vehicle happens, you can fill it up in about 10 minutes versus filling up an EV, at certain points, in, a lot longer than that. Is that not something that I think the hydrogen fuel cell vehicles has over EVs?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of benefits in hydrogen.
Yeah.
But the application will dictate where it's used.
Yeah.
That's why I say for a passenger vehicle, get home, plug your car in, next morning it's full. There's no destination filling. When it comes to commercial application, like a truck or a bucky,
yeah.
You're going to destination fill during the course of the use of that vehicle, because it's probably going to be used most of the day.
100%.
So you're going to have multiple fills.
Yeah.
Whereas in a car, you're going to plug it in at night, wake up the next morning, do your 40 Ks to work. That's it.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. I mean, you have this. Okay, so let's backtrack to the conversation that you had actually with I think it's Andrew Kirby. So they obviously launched the Mirai yesterday. I'm not even sure.
Well, they didn't launch it.
It was really
there's two in the country.
Yeah, they're just showcasing the technology, right?
Yeah.
What is his view? If you even spoken about it, what is his view on even introducing this vehicle in a market like South Africa?
Well, it's remember the Mirai is not introduced in South Africa. It's not launched in South Africa. It's just here as a showcase for the technology, right? So Air Products, the company, Toyota and Sasol have partnered to do this showcase and this initiative.
Yeah.
And based on the outcomes of this, the future will be dictated.
Okay.
So let's not put the cart before the horse. This is really just
prototyping, essentially.
Exactly, and a beautiful car, and looking at ways to build out a strategy effectively. And hats off to Sasol, Toyota, and Air Products for putting this together.
What's the point of this project, though? Is it just purely just a showcase, R&D? Understanding what the potential is? Is this an
I think the latter. I think it's the latter. Understanding what the future is, and then mapping that out during this phase of that partnership.
I'm quite interested to know, because specifically with Toyota, though, because it seems like they've probably invested in this outside of BMW.
So
most.
Don't throw Toyota out as a baby with the bathwater. Toyota is hedging their bets. They have this principle of allowing the consumer to decide,
okay.
Right? So they're investing in hydrogen. They're investing in battery electric.
They just want to be ready
battery
for
tech.
whatever happens.
They're doing research on solid state batteries. They're still building ICE vehicles. So they're really positioning themselves as, okay, whichever road this takes.
We want to be the leader.
We want to be there.
Yeah.
Not the leader necessarily.
Yeah.
We want to be there. We want a shot at it. We want a shot at being the leader. At the moment, Tesla's the leader in battery electric. But Tesla's nowhere with hydrogen.
Yeah.
Tesla's, nowhere. I don't know. Well, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think they're anywhere with solid state. Maybe they are, but Toyota is putting their stakes in every single fire.
If you look into the future, what do you see in terms of mobility? So you seeing you seeing that we're going to be using a wide range of different sources? It's not just going to be this idea of, back in the day it was just petrol or diesel, ultimately.
Something will win out in terms of the Pareto principle, 80-20.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that might be battery electric. Battery cells will change over time. Electricity will come from different sources, renewable sources, and that will proliferate over time. Remember, the electricity production doesn't require storage, and I think that's quite a big factor in that value chain. You require the ability to produce it, either wind, solar, or coal.
But its distribution is pretty much there, right?
It's on demand, so there's no storage needed.
Exactly.
Storage might be decentralized in everybody's homes. So my home, for instance,
it's a little battery pack there. That's
got a battery pack there. Yeah. So I'm storing Eskom's electricity, or the sun's electricity, effectively. But in some instances, Eskom's electricity, I'm storing in those batteries. So the storage becomes decentralized. The cost of storage becomes decentralized and fragmented. There's no one company that does all the storage of electricity.
Okay.
Whereas other energy sources like fuel, hydrogen, require a storage facility that is not your home. I'm not going to put a tank under my house.
Understood.
With hydrogen or fuel.
There's no way. I mean,
it'd be like bombs everywhere.
Every single, you have bombs everywhere. That's exactly what's going to happen. I mean, if you take the 5 factors that have that's been plaguing everyone in the industry, that being range, charging, the safety, and then emissions and the cost of ownership. In most places where hydrogen and EVs are available, hydrogen is still more expensive than battery electric. I don't think that will be the case in South Africa. I think the only reason why we're having high battery electric vehicle costs is just because of taxes, right? But if you take those 5 factors aside,
no, I don't think it's taxes. I think it's the lack of incentives. It's the flip side of taxes.
Okay.
So there's an element of tax on the import between 18 and 25%. Okay, so therein your statement is right. Yeah. So you're kind of half right, just don't know which half.
You heard it your face.
So you're right between the 18 and 25%. But even if we bring the
tax,
import taxes down immediately from 18 to 25, massive benefit in that 7%.
Yeah.
But that's not going to get scale. What's going to get scale is incentives. So that's what we're missing is incentivizing OEMs to build electric cars, incentivizing consumers to drive electric cars, incentivizing the component industry to build electric car products.
100%. So if you take those 5 factors, though, can you say one's better than the other, ultimately? Or do you think it's just depends?
One's better than the other in terms of
hydrogen fuel cell versus battery electric?
I don't think it's binary. I don't think it's one or the other.
It's not.
It depends entirely on the application. So I think again the Pareto principle will play out. The 80-20 principle or theory, in that 80% of the world's vehicles would be battery electric. That's just my own personal kind of insight. And then 20% will be everything else.
No, 100%.
And then there will be certain applications that might buck that, like the commercial environment. Like heavy duty trucks, for instance, might be 80% hydrogen and 20% battery.
Or even a hybrid system of, there might even be something that's new that's going to find a way to put these things together, and we'll get.
You heard it here from Wandile.
I might just be that guy. Before I leave you, George, obviously, so you were at the show yesterday, and one of the questions that I had was, what's happening with regards to our adoption rates of EV vehicles in South Africa? What did you see yesterday? What are some of the things that you were shocked by, or not surprised by, or any sort of insight that you can sort of lay on us for somebody who didn't go?
So what's nice to see at Smarter Mobility is the numbers in terms of the attendance. Yesterday's attendance was brilliant. I mean, we had 2 chock-a-block, packed out panel sessions. The Sasol partnership with Toyota and Air Products, as well as the future of electric vehicles, the panel that I moderated. Which was nice to see. So I think the trade side or the industry side is taking this much more seriously than they ever have. On the consumer side, you know the numbers.
Yeah, I mean,
we're seeing search and sales double every single year, more than double.
Yeah.
So, it's going to take a couple of years before that becomes exponential. But I think the demand's there, the industry's playing a part to create the supply in clever ways. And it's much further than battery electric vehicles, which is also exciting to see.
I mean, going back 4 years when we started doing the buyers survey with our partners, one of the things that you mentioned was there was no partnership. No partnership, but there was a lack of partnership and the correct kind of partnerships. So are you seeing that definitely happening now? I mean, it sounds like that's what you're saying. In terms
look at the Toyota, Sasol and Air Products partnership.
100%, yeah.
There's an example of something innovative, something different. In a very difficult piece of technology, which is hydrogen.
Yeah.
In terms of distribution and where the application is. So it's definitely happening. There were scooter businesses. I saw at least 2 to 3 of them with stands up at Smarter Mobility. I saw golf carts. I mean, golf carts have been around in electric form forever. Maybe they get hydrogen ones.
There's a market right there.
So I definitely think it wasn't just about battery electric, which I think was my main takeaway.
100%. I think the market's evolving nicely.
Yes. In our, if you go to reports.autotrader.co.za and you go and download the EV buyer survey that I presented yesterday, part of the presentation was also hybrids being the middle step, and so there's becoming so much choice for consumers. Exactly. Soft hybrids, plug-in hybrids, full battery electric. Now we're exploring hydrogen, and all of those things just kind of like the bricks will land in the way they need to land.
And it's new technology. I think that's why the price is,
until you get to scale, the price is not going to come down.
100%. And that's pretty much all the time we have for. There's no race this weekend.
Well, no, there's no race. Don't push that button yet.
I don't think there's a race this weekend. Is there? Let me just.
No, I don't think there's a race.
There was one last week.
Yeah, I think there's a 2-week break.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of a 2-week break. I think we go to Qatar next, so we'll catch that one. We'll definitely.
Let's just see where the next race is. Yeah.
October 8th. So this weekend.
Qatar. It's this weekend.
100%. So yeah,
Qatar.
We'll see you
definitely.
At Qatar and discuss.
What do you think is going to happen?
I mean, I've been saying it all year. It's going to be a Max show.
It's going to be
the podcast. The Max
podcast it's at this sprint race that Max can win the championship, right?
Yep. This is where he could go and
so they need to pull out all stops to stop it.
Just do anything.
Do anything.
Don't do anything.
Don't crash.
Don't injure the man.
Yeah.
But do what you need to stop this man, so we can have.
So we can have a couple more races without a champion.
Races, exactly. Yeah.
He needs to fight for it.
Yeah.
He needs to absolutely fight for it.
Can't just be given to him. Anyways, let's see what happens. He's done great, so I'm not gonna bash the dude. And now, Mr. Producer, we can go into the jingle. Thanks, George.
See you next time.
Search AutoTrader.